This podcast is brought to you by Anchor. If you don't know by now, Anchor is the easiest way to record your podcast and get it out to your listeners. Anchor allows for you to record from anywhere using your web-enabled device like computer or smartphone. It has built-in creation tools to make editing and presenting your episodes a breeze. And when you're finished, Anchor distributes your podcast for you so you can be heard on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many more podcast platforms. Anchor even allows you to make money from ads like this one, no matter the size of your audience. And the best part about it all is it's absolutely free. Anchor is the easiest way to start your podcast. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.
You on?
I am indeed.
All right, and welcome to the second Turnbuckle podcast, the finest podcast in all of anonymous professional wrestling podcasts.
Indeed.
We are taking our steps to ensure social distancing. The captain is in his house, and I am in mine.
Indeed.
Is made possible by Anchor. We found a neat little app to help us with our social distancing needs, and it just does everything for us.
Yeah, I'm surprised at the versatility of the app. It seems interesting. We're gonna have to play with it some more.
Most definitely. So today is the 18th of April, 2020. And we've had quite a week in
man, it's been
professional.
wild.
It was a bit of a long week.
Yeah, man, I can't. Well, we'll get into it later.
Yeah. So first, just a quick update. It's been 2 years since our last episode.
Long time.
A very long time. And what have we been doing these past 2 years? Well, let me tell you. What have you been doing?
Me first?
Yeah, you first.
All right, sick. Well, this will actually be informational for you as well as the audience because we've talked a little, but I've been finishing up my business administration degree at my local community college. This semester, if all goes to plan, I will receive my associate's degree in business administration with a certificate in accounting.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. But friends, I have a girlfriend now. Somebody I met in 2016, or early 2017, one of the two. I lost count. The years kind of blend together after a while.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. We started dating New Year's Day, 2019. So at like 3 a.m. No, it was not a drunk decision.
The story of how me and my wife started dating is oddly eerily similar. Sometime in the early morning of January 7th, 2015.
Oh, okay. So early January.
Yeah, early in the morning.
Okay.
Back when I could stay up till that.
I know, man. I mean, I have to stay up now because my job demands it.
Oh yeah, graveyard.
Yeah. Well, it's FedEx, so it's late shift. It's literally 8:30 p.m. until 1 a.m. It's wild.
I used to work the same shift.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, those are the two biggest things. Everything else is like, I mean, I would say trivial. I moved out of my parents' house.
Oh, me too.
I mean, that's pretty nice.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. Your own freedom and such.
I've
got some plans for later on this year, but those are personal stuff. Don't know that I really want to say those, or at least not this early. Maybe a little later on.
Not a problem.
I think that covers me. My life's pretty boring, so maybe you'll have something better.
I don't have anything better.
Okay.
Yeah, I was able to move out of my parents' house about a year ago.
Mm.
and I now reside in the beautiful downtown Long Beach, California.
Okay.
Other than that, yeah, I just got a new job. I started right before social distancing, which really sucks because I
Yeah.
work social hours now.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, so right when I could enjoy happy hour, no more happy hour.
Yeah, there's nothing to do anymore.
So I
Everything's
moved.
closed.
Yeah, everything is close. Like life is close.
Yeah. And I
Honestly,
know I laugh just because I know it's a serious topic, but you got to get through it somehow.
I laugh because did you see the Brody Lee, one of the Brody Lee skits on AEW?
I've kind of seen them, but AEW I've kind of been off of for a while, not because of quality or anything, just life stuff.
Totally understand. So he's in this board. He's doing a Vince McMahon character, and he's in this
Oh,
board
yes.
meeting,
Okay, I saw these. These were so funny.
and one of the Dark Order members, Jan, is like,
Mm,
everything is closed. Why are you tired?
that's great. That's funny.
And that kind of neatly segues into the topic of today's emergency last minute test podcast,
Hmm.
which is it COVID-19, the coronavirus outbreak, pandemic at
Yeah.
this point?
Well, yeah, it's been dubbed by several governments around the world and the World Health Organization as worldwide pandemic. We won't be talking like statistics on it specifically, but just how it
No,
affects the wrestling world. And I'm going to dub this last week the week wrestling died because there's a lot of things that happened.
I wouldn't call it wrestling. I wouldn't say wrestling as a whole. Let's say sports entertainment,
I mean, yeah,
because
the week
wrestling is,
sports entertainment died. Well,
yeah.
even the independent wrestling world is on hold.
Well,
If you
then
look at all of the press release pages for like Evolve, Pacific Coast Wrestling here on the Pacific Coast, and National Wrestling Alliance, Pro Wrestling Gorilla, all of these places, I mean, their live shows are pretty much suspended until like June or July. I saw PCW and PWG had suspended pretty much everything until July. They're both advertising shows early July, but all of
yes.
their stuff, all their live things. Evolve is running old Evolve specials on
Okay.
uh, on their YouTube channel, actually. And there's actually
Yes.
some really good ones on there. You sent me the Velveteen Dream and Darby Allin match, and that match is really good.
That was great. I think they have a Darby Allin versus Walter on there as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but yeah. So that's what Evolve is doing. Those kinds of companies, it's hard to find information on them. WWE, I mean, everybody and their mother covers WWE, so it's easy to find news on that. But finding news with the independent companies is a little harder.
Well, I have noticed a trend with PCW, Evolve, and Major League Wrestling. They do have weekly shows now. They air on YouTube,
Okay.
so at least they're coming up with some of that money
Yeah.
through YouTube and monetization.
Hmm. I mean, these companies are the ones that are hit hardest, right? Like WWE is going to be fine. They have about $500 million, I think, cash on hand. I've been seeing somewhere between 500 million and $1 billion cash on hand.
Yeah,
So, I mean, and then they've got all kinds of assets that they could liquidate. I mean, they'll be fine, even however long this lasts. They've been dubbed essential. We'll cover that in more detail later.
oh
But
boy.
yeah, I have some opinions. Whew, I have opinions. But yeah, with these ones, I mean, there's gonna have to be some serious interest in independent wrestling shows after everything is over. We really are gonna have to support these guys and girls because they're the ones hit hardest.
I honestly believe that some moves that WWE made might look a little grim now, but
Yeah,
they could in fact result in another boom in independent wrestling.
I agree. All right, well then, let's go to the WWE stuff because we could regurgitate the same stuff about independent wrestling for hours on end and go nowhere. But
True. We have.
so last week, as everybody knows, the WWE cut a lot of on-screen talent and backstage talent. I have the full list here. The backstage, the producers, it seems like some of them have been furloughed. I've been checking Twitter and stuff. I know. Well, let's go with the on-screen talent first. So
Let's start
from
first.
yeah, so from NXT, I don't know if you even know if you know all of these because I found these last night. But the full list of NXT wrestlers released: Tino Sabatelli, Cesar Bononi, Mars Wong, Taynara Conti, Nick Komoroto. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Alyssa Marino, Dan Matha, NJ Jenkins, Deonna Purrazzo, and Alexander Jackson. That is all the NXT on-air talent released. Some of them are not surprising. Taynara Conti has had pay issues with the company for a while. That's not
She
surprising.
walked out earlier, didn't she?
I don't know if she walked out quite so much as she voiced her frustrations heavily. Tino Sabatelli and Cesar Bononi is really weird to me.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Tino Sabatelli one really caught me by surprise because he's been there so long.
So long. Same with Cesar. They've been there, I want to say, since either 2016 or 2017.
2016, definitely.
Yeah. I know. I want to say they were in either the first or the second Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, right?
They were. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of these, honestly, I really don't know, and that's just because I have life and I only pay attention somewhat to NXT.
So I know Mars Wing is came from China when they were trying.
He was a Chinese wrestler that came over with Xia Li, I believe.
Yes.
In that when they stripped the Chinese talent that they could find. I think he only ever did NXT live events. I don't know if he was ever on NXT television in the Performance Center or in otherwise. Deonna Purrazzo came as a kind of a shock, but not really. I mean, she earned more of her stuff on the independent circuit, so she probably won't be affected that much.
Out of this list, Don Matha really stands out to me the most.
I mean, he only came once, right? I think they had a promo package for him once.
But this looks like Vince McMahon's type.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Big dude, balding, just big dude.
Kind of beard. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that was the NXT ones. We can always come back if we think of any other things. Go ahead.
NXT trainers, I'm not sure if they've been fired or not.
No, I think the NXT trainers were furloughed, just like a lot of the backstage producers.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just trying to make sure. I do want to touch on the one referee we have here really quickly.
Yeah.
They did unfortunately let Mike Chioda go.
Yeah, that one's huge, man. That's a big shock.
It's a career guy.
Yeah, I don't know if people understand really. Like they say it's not gonna impact a whole lot, but I mean, he's arguably the best referee that the company's ever had.
Yes, if you talk about locker room leaders, he's definitely that for the referees.
Yeah, I mean, huge. He's been a part of several main events. He has called the action in the ring so very expertly. A master of being a referee. Matches. Just an incredible masterclass. Yeah, go ahead.
He definitely takes me back to the SmackDown 6. I know he called a lot of their matches.
Yeah, he did. It was like him and Lil Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what is his name? Charles Robinson? Is that Lil Nate?
Yeah, Charles Robinson.
Yeah. I think he's still around, which is kind of nice.
I think Mike might have gotten a golden handshake because he's been with the company for so long.
Mm-hmm. I hope so. I really hope that he was one of the ones that wasn't called and that he was there and they told him at least in person.
No, they probably called him too. I'm not sure who would be there because of the travel restrictions.
Yeah, this call where they just called a bunch of people after the WWE meeting. This was at HQ, correct?
I believe everything was happening in Florida.
Well, wherever it was. Well, man, do I have some opinions. All
Go ahead.
right. Well, let's go through the list, and then because a lot of them kind of tie together.
Okay.
So the on-screen WWE talent, there's a lot of ones here that I'm that really suck. So going down the line, Rusev, No Way Jose, Mike and Maria Kanellis, Primo and Epico, Eric Rowan, Sarah Logan, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, EC3, Drake Maverick, Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder, Heath Slater, Eric Young, and Leo Rush.
It's a very interesting list.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of ones on here that aren't really surprising. No Way Jose, Primo and Epico, Sarah Logan, EC3, Heath Slater to an extent, and then like Eric Young. A lot of these were not really surprising. They weren't really using them. If you were to cut people, these would be the ones that go first. The ones that and Mike and Maria Kanellis too. I know they had that like storyline where Maria was having a kid that wasn't Mike's, the stupid storyline.
Oh, it was tough.
But beyond that, I mean, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson is really weird to me.
So I'm looking at this list here, and half of them make sense, but the other half just don't.
Yeah, like Drake Maverick, Zack Ryder. I mean, that one's huge. Zack Ryder, that one's tough.
That one hurt.
Yeah.
I do want to mention that Kurt Hawkins has been fired twice in these mass firings.
Yeah, he has.
But just the ones that feel make the most sense to me. Mike Kanellis.
Yeah.
Primo and Epico.
Yeah, they weren't really doing a whole lot.
Right. We haven't seen them in a couple years, I think.
I think they did the rounds on main events, and I know they did a lot of live shows, but beyond that,
right, because they had to get paid.
Yeah.
EC3.
Yeah, they were doing absolutely nothing with him. But if you're going to talk people who are going to benefit most out of this at the end, I mean EC3 for sure.
Then I would say Eric Young and Leo Rush.
Yeah, once again, not really doing well. Leo is kind of weird because he was just cruiserweight champion not terribly long ago.
Well, I mean, the way I see it is it's like, okay, you think about who's been a problem backstage.
Yeah, Leo Rush.
And then it's like, well, we got to get rid of somebody. Well, we just gave Leo Rush a title shot. Well, I mean,
he's kind of not all that great backstage with us.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm pretty sure that most of these guys can come back.
Yeah.
EC3 this is his second run with WWE. Kurt Hawkins, second run. Maria Kanellis.
Did you see the video that Drake Maverick put on Twitter of him talking about him being fired?
I did, and part of me thinks it's a hell of a work.
Yeah, and that's just the wrestling side of the brain. I don't think so. I really don't. It's man, you can tell he speaks with so much passion. I don't know. I mean, if it is a work, he's one hell of an actor.
Yes, he is. We'll just have to see. He did kind of throw the bit in that they let him continue to wrestle in the tournament, but it's already pre-taped. So.
Yeah, it's already been done with. I hope he's at least in the finals. I doubt it, personally. But
it's not going to make any sense because he's not going to show the same emotion.
Yeah.
In the match and in the video.
Yeah.
So let's get to the other half of this list.
Are we going to go the producers now?
No. So I said half of the list makes sense.
Oh, right. You're on the ones that make sense. Right.
No, the other half.
So that don't make any sense at all. Yeah.
Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows.
They were, if you go on WWE.com right now, they were just on video list of the most talked about moments of WrestleMania, which was I think the one that got the most was the Boneyard match. It was
Yes.
either that or the Firefly Funhouse, but the Boneyard match was huge, and they were a huge part of it.
They just main evented night one of WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I mean they were constantly in the Raw title picture. They were constantly on television with AJ Styles as part of the OC. So this one to me is very strange.
There's probably a lot of money in it.
This makes the least sense to me. I think they had signed a
5 year.
I guess it was it 5 year, 750,000.
Yeah, 5 year.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're going to cut costs somewhere, I guess it makes sense. But man, the amount of value that you're losing there for those guys is massive.
Right. Let's see what else. Who else doesn't make any sense?
Zack Ryder makes no sense. He was the birth of WWE's diving into social media really heavily. He was constantly on with their show. He had like an action figure show on the network, right?
YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he brought Kurt Hawkins into it. This one really hurts because I love the Edgeheads.
Yeah.
La Familia. That was the height of my Edge fandom.
Yeah. With the Edgeheads.
Yes.
Yeah, Hawkins and Ryder. I don't know if you saw SmackDown, but Dolph Ziggler was wearing a Ryder and Hawkins shirt. And I was like, well, thanks for the stab in the heart there, Ziggles.
He probably did that for his friends. I know a lot of these guys put merch up on Pro Wrestling Tees right away.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if they knew it was coming or not.
I mean, I think if you're Zack Ryder, you know that at some point, if there's ever going to be a thing, you're probably on the target list.
I don't know why.
Because you're not on screen very much. You're not on doing a whole lot. You're doing your own little toy thing, but it's not like crucial to the product, even if it is really entertaining, really fun to watch, and provides something different. You have to know that if something like this happens, that you're probably on the chopping block, even if you really don't like it.
Right.
So I guess Zack Ryder makes sense, but at the same time, it seems like such a huge loss.
No, Heath Slater makes no sense at all.
Yeah, none.
My one of my favorite stories of the brand split was "Where am I going?"
Yeah, it was a really good. It was a really good story.
And then I've got kids.
Oh, when he went up against Brock, that was hilarious.
He was just on SmackDown too, as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a solid wrestler. People have been kind of joking on Twitter, where they were saying Heath Slater is a WWE guy, so he should get jacked and come back and win the championship, and then all of 3MB will be
because the rest of 3MB
the same path. Yeah, Jinder Mahal got jacked, came back, became WWE champion. As much as I don't like it, Drew McIntyre is the current Universal champion, or he's WWE. Yeah, he's WWE champion, which is awesome.
He deserves all of it.
Absolutely. Nobody works harder, and everybody backstage says the same thing.
Excuse me, John Cena doesn't like that word. He earned all of it.
Whatever.
I actually agree with his sentiment.
Yeah, I mean, I know it is a distinction, but we can say both. He earned all of it and deserves it all as well.
Yeah, for all his hard work, he deserves it for all of his hard work.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to say anything else? I think I'm okay. Oh, Rusev. I did want to say Rusev is going to benefit heavily from this. People are saying they want him to go to AEW and have a match with Jeff Cobb, which
that'd be great.
I think that'd be great. Or he goes and just wrestles in the Battle of Los Angeles, which would be good too.
He's gonna do something. There's so many things that can happen now. Aiden English got fired as well.
Yeah, I have him a little bit lower, I believe.
I see.
Yeah, I do.
Um,
Okay.
Rusev is going to benefit heavily. Solid worker. Rowan
Always solid.
doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, because I don't know if his stock is really all that high as compared to a Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, as compared to a Zack Ryder, you know,
as compared to
Rusev,
as
you know.
compared to Brody Lee.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, maybe he joins that group, the Dark Order. I
I
don't
doubt it.
know.
I
Yeah.
doubt it.
See, that's my thing is like, is there any excitement for Rowan? I don't think so.
Well, Rowan is a solid worker.
Yeah.
He could pop up anywhere. That's the thing. Now, I'm very excited to see where these people end up
Yeah. Is this what
when
you were alluding to earlier when you were like, as grim as it seems now, we could get a rebirth in independent wrestling? Is this where you were
right.
referring to?
Yeah, so you could see EC3 go back to TNA Impact.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Impact is a lot less of a dying ship now than it was like even a year ago. So
Right. And like a lot of these guys could go down to NWA and main event there because
yeah, for
they're
sure.
kind of lacking on their own roster. They're really kind of depending on ROH to come in and help them out a lot, but you can sign someone like Rusev or
Hmm.
C3.
Yeah.
Even if they want to take like a an Eric Young,
Hmm.
he's been wrestling for a while.
I think Eric Young would fit in NWA or PWG really, really well. He just gives off that grizzly vibe that they have in those
Yeah.
promotions.
Leo Rush I would love to see Leo Rush go to Japan.
Yeah, I think I would love to see matches between him and like Will Ospreay and Takahashi and all those guys over there.
That'd be just best of the Super Juniors. I need to see him in that tournament.
Yeah. I really wish Kushida was still there because I think Rush and Kushida had a match on NXT TV and it was
Yeah, they
really,
did.
really good.
It was great. I
Uh,
remember that match.
it almost makes me wish that Kushida was still in that division over there because we could have another Rush versus Kushida match because I think they're really good together.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right.
Who else? I think we no, this kind of breaks my heart. Sarah Logan.
Yeah, I like
It,
her.
she's real life married to one of the Viking Raiders.
I'm not sure who it is. Let me see.
So that's you kind of split up a
A real life
family there.
couple. Yeah.
And they're on the road 5 days a week, and they're home for or 4 days a week, and they're home for like 3 days, but it's really more like 2 days because you have to get ready to unpack, wash your stuff. That's like half a day
Yeah.
to pack to go back
She
out.
is married to Raymond Rowe.
Right. I think her Twitter handle is Sarah Rowe.
I'm not terribly sure.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, they usually in wrestling when a wife goes, the husband goes as well.
Maria and Mike Kanellis, for example.
Cody and Brandy.
Yeah, they both left at the same time.
But I mean, there is your Renee Young still hanging in there.
Yeah, that's true. And we have Moxley on the AEW roster. So I guess it's not, I don't know, maybe it's like a 50-50 shot. They are in the running for the Raw tag titles, so that's probably why that they have plans for them.
Yes. Yeah. So it seems like, and this list still doesn't make any sense because there's a lot more people they don't have any plans for
Mm-hmm.
that they could have released as well. But you have some career guys on here that have only known WWE.
Yeah, like Zack Ryder. I don't know if he's
And
ever wrestled independent.
Heath Slater. I mean, like he might have wrestled independent, but it's been so long.
Right.
I think,
The independent wrestling scene has kind of left them behind.
right. So, like, how do you? I remember I saw at a PCW show, I saw Yoshitatsu, and he didn't really feel like an independent guy. He just kind of felt like an ex WWE guy.
Yeah.
Even though he had a career before and a career after, and clearly a career after, but he really, in my mind, is like, hey, it's this ex WWE guy.
Yeah. I mean, any kind of ex WWE guy is naturally going to have pretty high stock as compared to anybody else really on the independents that's kind of making their way up. And it's just because of exposure.
Right, right. But it depends. Like if you were just on TV, I can see No Way Jose struggling a lot more than Rusev.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you were in WWE, you were that dancing guy
Yeah.
with the
Comedy
conga line.
characters, like it depends. Like somebody like an Orange Cassidy, I mean, it's because he's not purely a comedy character, but his
Right.
comedy kind of fits into his overall vibe. Whereas the vibe of No Way Jose is, I'm funny, look at me dance.
And he's not even the best dancing WWE guy to do it.
No.
He's third,
Yeah, it's like
second to Adam Rose and Brodus Clay.
oh, I was gonna say oh, what's his name? Faced Jericho at Mania. Uh
Dang.
Fandango.
Yes. But though you're only the third best person to come out with backup dancers.
Yes. All right. And then the producers. I think we've spent enough time on the on-screen talent.
Yeah, this is the we don't know if they are fired or not list.
Well, there are some here that I know were furloughed. So I'll go down the list. Kurt Angle was released. He's gone. Which is that one real weird. But we have Billy Kidman. Yeah. Mike Rotunda, Pat Buck. Fit Finley I believe he was furloughed. Sean Daivari, Scott Armstrong, I know was furloughed because I follow him on Twitter. And somebody asked him in his comments, "Were you furloughed?" And then they had a fingers crossed emoji, and he put a thumbs up. So he was furloughed. He will be coming back. Sarah Stock, Shane Helms, and Lance Storm. I believe Lance Storm was released, but I'm not totally sure on that one.
Okay. Well, hey, again, this list is interesting.
Yeah, Lance Storm. He's had a wild ride. He was supposed to be in NXT under a developmental contract for on-screen talent. He was at I forget which takeover, but they do the whole he's in the crowd thing, and then the next takeover he's usually on. So but yeah, some of them are so weird.
I mean,
the Angle one is so strange.
Yeah, Sean Daivari kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Finley.
Yeah, that one's huge. AEW. Now, if he's released, go to AEW.
A name I'm surprised I don't see is the former Abyss.
What's his name? Yeah, I forget his name.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he was not furloughed, because usually the way furloughing works is, hey, you're new. We just hired you, and we're having to cut people. So
you're first. Yeah, it's like when you have teachers in a school system and they send out pink slips for furloughs.
Right.
It's usually the newer people that have been there fewer than 5 years.
So Chris Park,
get them.
Christopher Park. Parks. It is funny because they were hired at the same time. Shane Helms and Chris Parks, the former Abyss, were both hired last year in February.
Yeah. They left Impact. They're here now. Yeah.
which is really weird. I don't know who or how they made these decisions. I don't know if they just like took a dartboard.
They put everybody's names on a wheel and spun it like 7, 8 times, and they're like, "Here you go."
Or they did the old brawl for all and drew names out of hat.
Yeah. Everybody drew straws. The 10 shortest got released or furloughed. Yeah, something
So
like that.
none of these make sense. What I
Shane
really
Helms is a bit of a weird one because I mean he was very active in the company in the mid 2000s.
very active. He had the greatest WWE Cruiserweight title reign of all time.
I think Enzo Amore is going to have some words with you.
Fight me. He can fight me too.
All right. And then I'll just go through the rest because they all kind of blend together and that they're backstage announcers, some on air, but so the coaches, Serena Deeb, Kendo Cashin, and Chris Guy, formerly Ace Steel. Announcers, Aiden English, as you mentioned earlier, and Jerry Soto. He was furloughed. He was not released.
Okay.
Referees, we already said Mike Chioda. A creative writer, Andrea Listenberger. She was very heavily into the producing of what's the story? The Mandy
Rose and Otis.
Yeah, she was the one behind that, and that one sucks because that was one of the biggest things that people were talking about going into Mania was that story.
I think her last
actually well done WWE love triangle type story, and it was really well done.
Yeah, so I think her last piece kind of aired last night.
Yeah, it did,
and there was so much. It was a lot more depth to it than I would have imagined watching it. I can't wait to see how they drive this one into the ground.
Yeah, I don't know who they're going to give it off to, but if they do it for the last Dolph Ziggler love triangle storyline, it's going to be a problem. And then the last two names we have on here, other on-air talents, Josiah Williams and John Quasoto. I do not know who these two are, and I'm absolutely sure I butchered those names.
No, you got Josiah Williams right. Josiah Williams is the wrestling flow guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he took NXT champion Adam Cole out to the ring. One takeover, he got to wrap him to the ring.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so he was actually hired as he did a lot of YouTube interviews, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he actually made my favorite AEW theme, which is Sean Spears.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
dropping little nuggets of info I did not know.
Right. So I don't see him having issues for work.
Nah.
People are always looking for a rapper for theme music, especially more people are looking to make theme music now.
Yeah.
Because now all these guys who just got released have to go back to the indies, and I don't know if they have the rights to their music or not.
Well, they probably don't. Well, a lot of the NXT guys I know they don't. CFO has the rights, so people like Noe Jose, like Rusev, Tino Sabatelli, those Tainara Conti. Those they probably don't. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, their music was also made by CFO. I don't know about Ryder, Slater, and Hawkins. They were there before CFO became the lead creative team behind the wrestlers' entrance music.
Right.
But like EC3, Drake Maverick, Eric Young, Leo Rush, all these guys had their themes from CFO, so they'll probably stay under copyright.
So I know Leo Rush is also a rapper.
Yeah.
He has his own
music.
I know he has his own theme music from previously. I actually like EC3's TNA theme music a lot better than his WWE theme music.
I was never really that big a fan of EC3, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm still really not, but I mean, I recognize the stock he has.
Hey, listen, he did wonders for TNA as the originals were going out.
Right. I know all
So
that. It's just personally, it's just one of those
hey,
personal taste things.
I understand, but I look forward to I honestly look forward to what a lot of these guys do next. Again, Rusev and Aiden English are both released. They can continue working together. Mike and Maria Kanellis can go anywhere.
Yeah, I
Pre
know Maria Kanellis was with Anderson and Gallows when they were in Japan a lot. She did some
yes,
kind of, I guess, for lack of a better term, racy type things. She kind of
yes,
showed
yes.
her butt a lot on screen in New Japan, so I'm sure they'd be glad to have her back.
I think their next move is NWA.
You think so?
I think so. It seems like a move for them, but somewhere they haven't worked
Mm-hmm.
on TV before, so I can see them going back there. Especially when you see people like Eli Drake
Mm,
doing well over there.
yeah.
Uh, Primo
I,
and Epico can go hang out with Carlito,
yeah. That
who's
was one thing
still
you were saying last night when we were talking about setting up the recording today.
right. Who's Carlito still looks great, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he's gotten a lot bigger since his WWE days. They can go to Mexico. I see them taking a trios title somewhere, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they do like the AAA circuit.
I think that'd probably be their next move. EC3, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows. They should be fine.
Yeah,
Kurt
their stock is
Hawkins and
high enough.
Zack Ryder. The Major Brothers, they had their WWE WrestleMania moment, and anytime you win a title at Mania, I hear make a little bit more money.
Yeah. I think what I really want, because I want AEW to do well, I really want Ryder to go to AEW and give some tips to the social media guy over there, whoever they have as social media operations.
He probably will. They've been looking at him for a while. Eric Young can go anywhere. He's such a
Yeah.
great worker. He's always been a company guy.
Yeah.
I don't see him going back to TNA now,
No,
but
probably
again,
not.
NWA is a good fit. Ring of Honor is a good fit.
Well, Ring of Honor is kind of that Ring of Honor needs to do some heavy restructuring, and they have the time now, but they've been falling off the wagon for a good 6 months. They had a
Well, when you're
really bad botched storyline between Matt Taven and what's his name, the Crow, Bullet Club,
Marty Scurll,
Marty Scurll, where it looked like Marty Scurll was gonna be champion, and they botched the story really bad. I forget exactly what happened, but
well, I mean,
I mean Scurll absolutely should have held the championship. That was a
I think
big mistake.
he's head booker over there now, I believe.
Yeah, he is.
So I don't think that would be best for business right now. It's kind of like Cody Rhodes running wild with Big Platinum down in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's a good look. I do appreciate the fact that the belt's now, I believe, on PCO.
I'm not sure.
It was.
Well, we can look at the. I like
Doing
to look at the rest. Excuse me, the Wrestling Observer newsletter, because they always have the championships. Whoever's currently champion in the major promotions.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so let me look up real quick.
Oh, it's Roosh. Forgive me. Roosh is current Ring of Honor World Champion. He did beat PCO, so.
Oh yeah. Oh, Nick Aldis is still NWA champion.
Nick Aldis is going to be NWA champion until I have children and grow old.
Yeah. Oh, Tessa is Impact champion still. Is she
Yeah.
still under contract with the company, or was she released last year with everybody?
With Impact or
With WWE?
Tessa?
Yeah, Tessa Blanchard.
She was definitely released.
Was she? Okay. I can't
I,
remember.
I, I don't think she was.
They do these mass release fits every year ish.
I don't think she was ever under contract. If I did, I would have missed it.
Well, I know she was on NXT TV quite a bit, but I think she was really only used as it might have just been like a per contract basis.
Yeah, they do work. You can work a few dates with WWE,
Right.
even like we saw with Justin Jushin Thunder Liger.
Yeah. Where he came for what takeover was that?
One of the best ones.
Yeah. That was a really good takeover.
It was great. It looks like a
Was that our evolution?
no, that was the first one in the
Oh no, you know
Barclays
what?
Center,
It
I
was
believe.
Brooklyn. It was Takeover
Yeah.
Brooklyn. The first one.
So yeah, it looks like Tessa hasn't worked for WWE since 2017.
Wow, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So then she got released a long, or if she was ever under
I
contract.
think it looks like she just had a couple of matches, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It looks like she only had four. Um
So maybe I followed her career a little closer than I remember.
so she had three matches, and then she was in the one of the Mae Young Classics
Right, I knew that.
in the first round.
All right. I'm kind of done on the personal ones. I have some shit to say.
All right.
These releases, I've been kind of struggling with like what I really think about it, and in the end, I know it's a business decision, right? I understand that that they are going to have to do something, and but some of them just seem really unnecessary, and it just seems like, for lack of a better term, I'm just going to say it. It seems like greed. They say that these cuts, along with a lot of more backstage names that we don't even know about, a lot more writers were fired, that they're going to save $4 million monthly. But when you have a company that has 500 million to $1 billion cash on hand, and even without all of these, we're expected to have $1 billion revenue. That's I mean that revenue. That's not net. That's not net or gross. That's just purely what they're going to take in without taxes and payrolls and everything excluded. But I mean, $1 billion in revenue, that is more than I think Ring of Honor has probably ever seen in its existence. And they're going to get it in 1 year. WWE is huge. And I really think a lot of these releases, a lot of these furloughs were a misstep. I really do.
I am going to I have an opinion.
Sure.
I feel like WWE um was worried too much about competition, which doesn't make any sense. So they worried about AEW, and they worried about New Japan, and they worried about Ring of Honor, and they worried about Impact Wrestling. They worried to the point where they just weren't letting people go. And they
Right.
were trying to hoard as many people as they possibly could. And a lot of people stayed because of the money, which
Yeah.
makes sense, especially if
When
you're
you,
used to making hundreds of $1,000s a year, not necessarily having to do anything. But
mm,
when it gets to the point where there's such an economic strain on everyone, you have to let people go. That's not a good look.
Yeah, I think this is I want to say a market correction, but that's not even the right term. I would say this is consequences for. We've seen it now twice from Brody Lee and from Chris Jericho, where Vince absolutely hoards talent just so that, like you said, like AEW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, so that these guys can't have them.
Right.
We saw this a lot. I think this is kind of a time for WWE to realize that that is not something they should be doing. Because people are eventually not going to stand for it. And especially now with like AEW and Ring of Honor being and New Japan being a little bit better of an income source, not than WWE, not in comparison, but compared
Right.
to like 5 years ago, where WWE, it was WWE or nothing. That was it. Now you've got 4 or 5 different shows that you can reasonably make enough money to support yourself and a partner. And a lot of other, a lot of wrestlers have, wrestling spouses because it just makes sense. So they're bringing in
Yeah.
income as well. I think WWE really needs to kind of assess where they're going, because this whole hoarding talent thing, I mean, they just released some huge names and it's really going to hurt them in the long run. Releasing Cody was probably Vince McMahon's biggest mistake, because he's
Yeah.
such a visionary with vast connections, and he was able, along with Bucks and Kenny, to make legitimate competition. Not right now. I think there's still a bit of a ways to go, but just having another show with another promotion out there with a television deal that they can go really wherever they want and do whatever they want to do with a guy behind them that is richer than Vince McMahon that's a problem. And if you don't do this whole thing where you hoard talent and constantly keep these people under wraps, people get sick of it eventually. And it's a serious problem that the WWE needs to address.
Yeah, I would honestly go as far to say is why are we worried where these people go when they leave here? At the end of the day, wrestling is wrestling. So if they leave here, make a bigger name for themselves, then come back, they're just coming back. Everything, it seems to me, in wrestling is a circle.
Yeah.
Where you work here for a while and you work there for a while. There's not a lot of career guys anymore. I think John Cena might be the last
Yeah.
of the career guys. Now it's who can pay me more for less work.
I think Seth is becoming, if not already is, a WWE career guy. I know he started in Independence and he has the whole Ring of Honor cred. I know all that. But he is as close to a career guy while also not being one, if that makes
Did
any
you
sense.
did you see his tweet?
Which one? Because I know he tweeted he was on Instagram Live and defended the company, and then people got bent out of shape. Is that the one?
It was a tweet. He was trying to kind of be there for the guys that got fired, but stick up for the company at the same time.
Right. I mean,
I
it's
think
noble.
I think one of the journalists retweeted Seth Rollins, always there to make things just a little bit worse.
I mean, I feel I have sympathy for the guy, because these are people that he's grown in the business with since 2013, that he's seen in or 2012.
2012, yeah.
Because he was on the first episode of NXT. Yeah, so 2012. And I mean, he's seen these people for 8 years and now they're gone, and he realizes that it's a tough decision, so you kind of have to stick up for your guys while not pissing off as many people as you possibly can. It's just, I think he comes off as a WWE puppet, and people don't really like that. I sympathize with the guy.
Honestly, I think you just gotta know when to shut up.
I mean, it's just, he's being a nice guy. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those, I think people kind of took this wrong.
Yeah, common sense would have told me to leave it alone.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there. We just have to wait and see, along with the rest of the world. When things are going to get back to normal, and once things get back to normal, we'll see. We'll see what these guys do. I've been hearing this a lot from my artist friends. They've been saying, don't just sit here in quarantine and not work on yourself. So
Yeah, I agree with that.
if my advice to people who are a lot more successful than I am is worth anything, work on yourself. Don't don't sit here and feel sorry for yourself.
I absolutely
I've been
agree.
I've been fired before too. I know it sucks. Um, there are things you can do. People will support you.
Hmm.
Put something out on Pro Wrestling Tees. Figure out what your next move is going to be as soon as we can we can have live shows again. Um, we see people leave WWE and come back all the time,
Drew
and this is what
McIntyre. That's probably the biggest name is Drew McIntyre.
I wouldn't even say Drew Jinder
Jinder.
Mahal.
Yeah. He was a jobber for like 3 months when he came back and then became WWE champion.
So there's. I know it sucks. I know it's your dream, but you can still wrestle. Like they didn't take that skill from you
Yeah.
when they left. It's not like that one job I worked where they took the shirt off of my back as they fired me. They said, "Yeah, that's our shirt. Can we have it?" I told them, "I don't have another shirt." They asked me, "Do you have an undershirt?" And they took my shirt.
Jesus. That's fun.
Yeah,
that had to be an
but
interesting walk home.
yeah, it was. I will get into that later.
Yeah. All right. We're on 56 minutes. I got two more things I want to talk about. I'll blow through this one real quick.
All right, all right.
Just one thing about New Japan. They did just recently, as a matter of fact, it was 3 days ago. They met with some officials from the Japanese government. But it wasn't just NJPW. Well, first off, let's start with the people that were from New Japan that I can recognize here. They have all the names at the bottom of this article, and if I can find a way to have these somewhere for people to see, I'll show, or I'll put them somewhere.
We
But
could put them on the Twitter page.
yeah,
Cheap plug. Follow
follow our
follow
social
us on
media.
Twitter. Yeah, we are on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah,
More to
but
be
we're hoping
announced
to expand into other platforms potentially soon, but we'll see where
very
that
soon.
goes. So from New Japan, Tanahashi was there,
Hmm.
Hiroshi Tanahashi, and I'm absolutely going to pronounce his name wrong because I had not heard of him before this, but Naoki Sugabayashi. Actually, that might be right.
That didn't
Sugabayashi.
sound bad.
Sugabayashi. He's the chairman of New Japan Pro Wrestling. But Suwama from All Japan was there. Uh,
Okay.
Takanori Fukuda, who's the representative director of All Japan, was there. People from DDT, from Stardom, I think
Yeah.
somebody from Shimmer was there. And they met with some Japanese government officials, the lower house minister, the minister of economy, trade, and industry. He was a representative. He is not named here, but just some big things, some big names from Japanese government, basically talking about how they wanted to really navigate this whole COVID situation. And they basically are requesting that they kind of want to return, but kind of don't. And that if they
Right.
do, they just want a couple things. So let me see here. They want testing kits before they're allowed in again. And then they want compensation for the contracted wrestlers, those that are affected. They want their compensation still. And I think Hiroshi was a big part of this one specifically. So Hiroshi Tanahashi did very well with this meeting. And I don't never want to hear that he's not the ace of New Japan ever. after this, because he was actually saying that he doesn't want them to come back. He doesn't want Japanese wrestling to come back until this is all over. And
Right.
he explained because it's a heavy contact sport, we could transmit it really easily, and because that's just the nature of the business, that it would be against everybody's interest and against human code, if you will. I'm paraphrasing his words. To bring wrestling back, and I really agree. I really do agree. I think the fact that WWE has been labeled essential business is insane to me.
Well, when you donate 18.6 million, I believe.
Oh, you're talking about the super PAC, right?
Right. When you donate 18.6 million to battleground states, quote unquote.
Yeah, he donated to a super PAC that was started by Linda.
Vince McMahon didn't donate it directly, but the super PAC run by his wife donated it.
Yeah.
So it could very well have come from that amount could have been written on a WWE check. We might never find out.
Probably not. But I mean, it's fishy. It's real fishy. But
Very fishy.
So that was all I wanted to. If you want to read more on this story, head to the New Japan website, njpw1972.com. It's in their news section. You can find it yourself and read the article. It's actually really interesting. There's more things that I didn't say.
We'll post all the references from this podcast on our various social media outlets.
Yeah. And then the last thing, we do have Money in the Bank in a month. And I know it seems weird to even be talking about events after we just did this whole thing with COVID, but it's news. So WWE has released yesterday, as of this recording, they released a statement that they are going to have Money in the Bank, and that the Money in the Bank ladder match. I don't think they clarified if there's going to be more than one, but it's actually going to be at WWE HQ, which is very interesting. They're going to start on the ground floor, and they're going to make their way through the building, I imagine, or maybe an elevator. Maybe we'll get a shot of Braun Strowman, or not Braun Strowman. We'll get a shot of like Big Show or somebody like trying to ride an elevator and then getting speared by Roman or something through an elevator. I don't know. We'll get some shenanigans, I'm sure. But then the briefcase is actually going to be suspended from some kind of rigging on the top of the roof for the WHQ. And that's where the briefcase is going to be. There's already some photos online. You can find it. But this is actually a very interesting idea. I'm curious to know what you think.
You know, I'm kind of envisioning some sort of Hunger Games Belko experiment type.
Oh my god, that'd be
battle royale type. I'm gonna make sure you don't make it to the top floor.
You know what they need? They need a cornucopia in Vince McMahon's office with like chairs and sledgehammers and stuff, and they have to all race there to get the weapons first.
I just seeing how
I would never stop watching WWE ever again if they did that.
So there's a silver lining in everything, and this might be it. The Boneyard match.
Yeah.
The Firefly Funhouse match.
Yeah, these cinematic type wrestling matches are actually a really interesting thing, and it makes sense. You know, it's a way to continue doing the wrestling, keep social distancing as much as physically possible, but also bring something creative and new and interesting to the product that we've never really seen at this level before.
Not at this level, you know.
I know TNA did the deletion matches and that kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, credit to Matt Hardy and Lucha Underground, who really kind of.
Yeah, Lucha especially. Lucha has been doing this for a while, so I guess we should kind of give a caveat. We've not seen it at this level in WWE before.
Right.
But Lucha Underground has been doing these cinematic matches for a while. You got to feel for Lucha because all these fans that don't really know or are taking it for granted. And Lucha's over here like, am I a joke to you?
Right. And if you haven't I do believe they might still be on Netflix.
I think so.
So I stopped watching a while ago just because I found other things to watch. But
Yeah,
it's always a good way to pass time. But
yeah. That was all I
kind of
had. That was all
kind
I
of
had.
wrapping this all up neatly.
Mm,
Um, to the promotions who are trying to find their best way to deal with not having this income right now, I feel for you. Thank you for the tons of excellent free content that you've shared on YouTube for us to watch during this time. I know NWA, Evolve, PCW, they're putting out great content
yeah,
still from their back category of matches they've already run. To WWE, who is doing their best to entertain us on the surface. I just hope that there's no company wide coronavirus pandemic
yeah,
or outbreak they have to deal with that could cause some sort of legal ramification. Um, and to the rest of us who are taking things day by day, to the essential workers or are still essential, thank you. To the people who aren't essential, I hope they get funds out to you fast.
yeah. And I want to say as well, please do the social please keep social distancing. We're probably not going to get a vaccine until minimum a year and a half.
Yeah.
So in that time frame, we do have to be really careful. We got to stay safe. Check in on your family and friends, especially your older family members who are disproportionately affected by this thing. Just check in on them. Just call every now and then. I'm gonna call my grandmother later today, see how she's doing.
Good.
You know, stuff like that. Just little things that we can do that aren't just sitting around and binge watching the next Netflix show that we weren't able to watch because we were working and are now furloughed.
You know, I watched all those at work. I'm bad at
Yeah,
that graveyard shift killed me.
yeah, and the first responders, the medical field that's working just absolutely crazy hours right now. Seriously, from the bottom of our hearts at the second Turnbuckle podcast, we thank you so much.
Yes, from all of us, from us too, and the behind the scenes personnel. We actually have behind the scenes personnel now.
We do have behind the scenes personnel. Oh, and
Uh,
if you guys are wondering what anybody who finds this later on, what happened to our two guests on the previous episodes, unfortunately, weren't able to do this. We're kind of rebranding, if you will. So, well, we'll have them on eventually. Just for this one, it's just us two. We'll have
yeah,
more guests. We'll have stuff coming in. We got plans, guys. We've got plans.
we're we're testing the waters with this new app, this new setup, this new set of rules. Unfortunately, we have to work under due to COVID-19.
Yeah,
Hopefully, we'll have the guys on soon. We do need to review WrestleMania.
we do need to review Mania. I need to watch Mania again.
We'll get that to you before May.
Yeah. Do we want to give a date for the next release, or just what we're expecting, and if we get it earlier or later, oh well.
You know, we're
Maybe
just taking it
we'll
day.
leave that up to we'll leave that up to our social media pages.
Yeah, we're taking it day by day.
All right. So do you want to leave us off?
Um, thank you for listening to the Second Turnbuckle podcast. Please stay safe. Please stay 6 feet apart from each other,
Yeah.
and please be kind to one another.
Yeah. Struggling times call for desperate times call for desperate measures. I know we're all struggling. We'll make it through it.